Welcome to the video, thank you for checking it out today. Now, if you've been a long time subscriber of my channel, you know that I'm a bit of a DJI fanboy. I started off with their drones, which I still have, I've got their mics, and even their action cameras. I absolutely love pretty much everything they release. Now the Action 3, I must admit that I think this is probably the best action camera out at the moment. It hasn't been smooth sailing with me. This is my third replacement Action 3. I had an out of focus issue and an SD card issue, but I absolutely love this camera. But for me to say that it's the best action camera out at the moment, I think it's only fair I go buy a GoPro Hero 11 and let you know my honest thoughts about it, compare it to the Action 3 also. So let's jump straight into the video. Now I went with the accessory pack for the GoPro Hero 11. Inside you get the float handle, a couple of mounts, headband, 2 batteries, and obviously the GoPro. Now you can subscribe to their subscription service, which I'm not a fan of, I must admit. I don't like any kind of subscription service. Now once you've turned on the GoPro, of course you've got to update it with the app that's on your phone, which is pretty easy to do. And when using the app, you get a reminder to sign up for their subscription service, which for £450 should be included with the GoPro in my opinion. Now I've had the Action 3 for about 3 months, so I only think it's fair that I use the GoPro for a good few weeks, get to know its good points, its bad points, and then give you my honest opinion and feedback on both of these cameras. So it's been 3 weeks now since I opened up the GoPro Hero 11. Out of them 3 weeks, I've only been able to use it for 2 weeks. I'll touch on this more later in the video. But first, let's take a look at some of the smaller details between these two action cameras. First, the build quality of both action cameras is very good. They don't feel cheap and plasticky, they feel like premium products. Next, we'll take a look at the side door where you insert the SD card and batteries. Now on the DJI, it feels a very solid door, very easy to open and close, and you get a nice little click when you open and close it. On the GoPro side door, you kind of get this tab at the bottom that you have to slide down and then pull out the door and open it up to insert the SD card and battery. Now it just doesn't feel as reassuring as the DJI Action 3. There's also a gap at the top, which I must admit had me worried, where I thought at first I hadn't closed the door properly, but apparently this is how it comes. Next we'll look at the batteries, and even though the DJI claims to have a larger capacity battery, I found in my unscientific real well test that the GoPro seemed to deplete slower than the DJI battery did. So the GoPro wins on the battery front in my opinion. Next we're going to look at the buttons and how they feel when you're operating them. Now on the Action 3 you get your start, stop, record button and your power on button. Now in my opinion these buttons are way too stiff. You don't get a good reassuring feeling when you're pressing them. Now with the GoPro you get your start, stop button and your power on, just like the Action 3. Now they still are stiff, but they're softer than the Action 3. So the GoPro buttons in my opinion are the better of the two, but only just. Now if GoPro or DJI are watching this video, please make your buttons feel better, because in truth neither of them feel great. Next onto the rear screens of both these cameras, and both are fantastic. Both are very clear and very responsive to the touch. Now the front screens on both these action cameras are again just as clear as the rear screens, but it must be noted that the Action 3 has a touchscreen where the GoPro 11 doesn't, so you can change all your settings from the front screen, which is really good. Next we'll look at the two mounting options on these two action cameras. Now the GoPro's mounting pins pull out, which is okay, but the magnetic system on the Action 3 is a game changer. It really is fantastic. And whilst we're looking at the mounts for both of these action cameras, it's also worth taking a look at the bolt that comes supplied with the action cameras to tighten them up to the mount. What DJI have done is re-engineered their bolt so that you can get some real leverage behind it to tighten it up really well to your mount. And it's these little things that normally go unnoticed that have the biggest difference on the user experience of using these action cameras. But that's enough waffle about the build quality. Let's get to the meat and bones and see which one produces the best quality footage. This is the GoPro, and let's switch to the Action 3. And let's swap back to the GoPro. And back to the Action 3. It's pretty cool to see how both of these action cameras perform so well, even though that both companies come at different angles with their colour science to the footage. Now, the biggest difference I've noticed between both of these action cameras is their dynamic range and how they approach it. This is the DJI Action 3 facing the sun. Let's switch over to the GoPro though. Now, what I've noticed after testing both of these devices out, that it really comes down to lighting and location what produces the better looking footage. Let's swap back to the Action 3. And one last time to the GoPro. Now, it's worth pointing out that the DJI clips you've just seen were recorded in HDR mode, but we can switch it over to the 8-bit standard video mode on the Action 3 and compare like for like. We can also put it against the GoPro 11's resolution of 5.3K. So this is the 8-bit standard video mode on the 4K Action 3. Let's swap over now to the HDR 10-bit on the Action 3. Let's swap back to the standard video mode on the Action 3, but walking towards the sun. And let's compare this 4K resolution against the 5.3K resolution of the GoPro. And let's swap to the HDR on the Action 3. Now, we can swap to 4K on the Hero 11, but that comes with one negative. Let me show you that now. So we're recording at 5.3 at the moment. Let's switch over to 4K on the GoPro. Now, it may be hard to see depending on what device you're viewing this on, but what happens is when you go to the GoPro 11 in 4K, you get this over-processed look. And here is a still from that footage taken at 4K resolution. And if you look closely at the grass and the flowers, you'll see that it's been over-processed. It almost looks like a computer game. If we take a screenshot from the 5.3K resolution of the GoPro 11, you'll see that it looks much better. So if you're thinking about buying a GoPro or you already own one, make sure you record at 5.3K resolution to get the most natural looking footage. Now, the few clips you've just seen are optimal conditions for the action cameras. Action cameras really like the light, so when it's nice and sunny they perform at their best. But what everybody wants to know is how do they perform in low light and what does the mic sound like? So that's what we're going to test now. I'm filming on the Action 3 and let me show you the situation we've got here. We've pulled the blinds down to about 50%. I can still see in the room, but it is fairly dark. Now, low light conditions, everybody has their own ideas of how dark low light is. I say that it's somewhere in between full brightness and night time. Normally like indoor conditions, just to see how much noise you get in each of the cameras. So let's switch over to the GoPro. So we've swapped over to the GoPro and we're in exactly the same lighting conditions as with the Action 3. Let me show you the blinds. Now, this test also is about the internal microphones built into each of the cameras. Now, I know which one I prefer, but please comment below which one you think sounds better. Now, it all depends on what speakers or headphones you're listening to them from, but there's one that sounds a lot better than the other in my opinion. So let's switch over back to the Action 3 now, and we've swapped back over to the Action 3. Now, remember, we're doing a microphone test as well, so let me know your thoughts on which one sounds better. Also, let me know which one you think performs better in low light. Now, I think there's one that performs better in low light, and I'll reveal my answer in a minute. Let's switch back over to the GoPro one last time, and we're back on the GoPro again. So let me know which one you prefer audio wise, and let me know which one you prefer in low light, which one produces the least amount of noise. Now, let me give you my opinion on them. So looking back over both of them recordings, I'd have to give the advantage to the GoPro there. It seems to deal with the low light a lot better than the Action 3. But it's worth noting that in my opinion, the microphone on the Action 3 is much better than the GoPro. Let me know your thoughts though in the comments below. So I've come out again with the GoPro. I've been walking for the last couple of hours with a rucksack on. I've just gone to get the GoPro out of my bag and something really strange has happened to the GoPro. Let me show you this. Hopefully you can see that there. The screen on my GoPro has cracked whilst being in the bag. And what makes this strange is the bag's been on my back the whole time. I haven't dropped it. It definitely weren't damaged when I left. I haven't done anything to damage the GoPro, and the only other thing that's in the bag is a jacket which the GoPro was wrapped up in. That is very, very strange. So yes, my GoPro has officially broken. Still turns on and everything, but the rear screen has cracked. Now looking at it, it looks like it's been thrown off a wall, but I can assure everybody that isn't the case. I have no idea how this has happened. If you take a closer look at the GoPro and look at the side isn't damaged at all, it's only the glass, which really has left me scratching my head. I am completely baffled how this can happen. Anyway, I decided to reach out to GoPro and beg them to please send me another GoPro. Now at the time I didn't think GoPro would replace it because, in all honesty, looking at it myself, it does look like it's been mistreated. But out of the kindness of GoPro's heart, they asked me to send it back to Holland so they could assess the damage. And then 1 week later, I had a knock at the door and there was a replacement GoPro for me. So thank you very much GoPro, and thank you for your support. Anyway, that's why I lost 1 week of testing. But anyway, let's get back to the testing by looking at the menus on both of these devices. Now the Action 3's menu is a work of art. You can really tell DJI have put some effort into making sure that the menu system is as simple as possible. Everything is in its right place, it's logical, it's intuitive, and within 1 hour you know exactly where everything is and you know how to change any of the settings. The way I would describe the Action 3's menu is like a library where every book is in the right categories and in alphabetical order. Unfortunately, the same thing can't be said about the GoPro's menu. It's clunky, unintuitive, very, very complicated, and none of it makes any sense at all. Since owning the GoPro for these 2-3 weeks, I still have no idea how to format the SD card in the device from the menu system. So if you do know how to format an SD card inside your GoPro Hero 11, please let me know in the comments. And GoPro, if you're watching this, please sort out your menu system. It's probably one of the worst that I've ever used on any camera system. So the DJI's menu system is like a well organised library, and the GoPro's menu system is like this. It really is shockingly bad. And whilst we're on about bad points with the GoPro Hero 11, let me show you this massive problem with this action camera. Here I was recording with the Hero 11, just seeing how long the battery would last, and after 30 minutes of recording, you guessed it, it shut off due to heat. The Action 3 continued to record for over 1 hour, and only stopping when the SD card was full. When I touched it, it was only warm, where the GoPro 11 was extremely hot. So what's my conclusion then to these two action cameras? Well, as I paid for both of them out of my own money, and this video isn't sponsored by either of the companies DJI or GoPro, I think it's only fair that I give you my honest opinion. Now, I haven't even touched upon time-lapse mode, photo mode, frame rates, etc., as these could have videos all by themselves, but there's no getting away from the fact that both of these action cameras record incredible footage. The stabilisation built into each action camera is absolutely insane, and both are waterproof. Now, if both of these action cameras were equally priced and I had to choose one, well, I think you've guessed which one I would recommend. It is the DJI Action 3. It's just a much more complete, easier to use action camera than the GoPro Hero 11. GoPro Hero 11 feels like a couple of generations behind the Action 3. With its overheating issues and its clunky menu system, it's just not as refined as the Action 3 is. So there you have it. Even though I've had to send back the Action 3 twice now, one with an out of focus issue and one with an SD card reader issue, and I've had to send a GoPro Hero 11 back once now due to a cracked screen, I would still recommend the Action 3 over the Hero 11. It's just a much more refined product, and the fact that it's cheaper than the GoPro makes more sense to go with the DJI Action 3. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you think I've missed anything, please put them in the comments below. If you'd like me to test any of these features on either of these cameras, let me know. I do read all my comments, so I will get round to testing more features on both of these cameras. If you've enjoyed the video, like I say, give it a big thumbs up. Now, I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2023, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is with your help. So if you've got anything at all out of this video, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and we'll catch up in a future video. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching. Catch up soon.